Level 4 chatbot. Today we're going to create a chatbot, which is a type of program that sounds like it's having a conversation, and we want to see if we can trick people into thinking they're having a conversation with a human instead of a computer. So we want it to sound as normal as possible. You notice I kind of went back to nice to meet you, and I took out anything we added as far as the strings and append, and so we're left with this. At this point, I'm going to take a shout out to those that are not using Visual Studio, because Visual Studio is very heavy on resources. So it can be hard to run on some weaker computers, or if you have a computer that maybe just does not agree with Microsoft, then you could have a real hard time. So as we mentioned in our first couple lectures, there is another way we could do this. We can go to an online compiler like cpp.sh, and what that allows us to do is to run it right from a browser. So I'm in Chrome. I haven't installed anything, but I have a compiler right here. I went to cpp.sh, and I went ahead and copy and pasted my code in, and I'm going to run it. And it asked me, what's your name? So you notice it's a little bit different. It didn't pop up a window because it's just down here in this section. So we type in, what is your name? Andy. Nice to meet you, Andy. All right, so this looks like it's working, and it's waiting for me to type something else in. All right, and it saves it there. So it tells me exit code. All right, great. So what we're going to do is we're going to build on this a little bit because we want to have an actual conversation. So before I start asking questions, let's think about what kind of things we would ask if we were having a conversation. We know we're going to ask their name. If you were in a chat room, you might also ask somebody their age. Okay, so let's do that. Let's ask them their name and their age. What else? Maybe their favorite food. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do favorite food. Now, a few things about naming variables in C++ is that we have a few rules. One is that we have to use letters and numbers. There are a couple exceptions. I cannot use spaces. So if I were to try to run this, it would bug out and it said something's wrong here. Well, if I just take that space out, it runs fine. So the other thing we can do if we want it to be a space in there for favorite food, what we might do is we might put an underscore. So favorite food with an underscore, and that is perfectly legal in C++. Okay. What else might we ask? What about? What's another good question? Well, I have two pets, so I'm going to ask about pets. I'm going to say two pets. And again, when I run this, we're going to run into a problem because, again, we have an error because we cannot start with 2. We can't start with a number at all. We have to start with a letter. Now, there is one exception. We can also start with an underscore, which I see some programmers use. I think it's kind of weird, so I just generally start with letter. You can have numbers in there all you want, but they just have to be after. So I have two pets, so I'm going to write pets 2 to remind me that I'm going to tell them that I have two pets. Okay? And the last one, let's toss in. No, I can't think of another question. I can't think of anything else I'd want to know about somebody, so I'm going to just type in string. Okay, so I'm just going to type in a string that's also, we'll call it string. Okay, and again, we bug out because string is a special word. It goes right here. And we can't use the word string, just like we can't use any special word. So if I were to type in something like int, that would be a problem. In fact, you can see it turn blue because int is special. It's right here. I couldn't type in main because main's right here. Okay, so you want to be very careful about how you name your variables. I usually go with just lowercase. I go with letters at the beginning, and don't end up with too many problems. So I'm going to leave the last one off because I'm going to let you guys see if you can come up with more. But for me, we've got at least a start of a program. But I still have an error. Do you see the error? What's the problem? That's right, semicolon. I feel like 90% of my errors are missing semicolons. Back in Visual Studio, you can see it a little bit more familiar. What we're going to do is we're going to make this chatbot by first copying these lines of code. We're going to work a little bit smarter. So we're going to go ahead and copy, instead of what is your name, I'm going to do the quick and dirty way real quick. Change that to age. Change this one to favorite food. And then we're going to change this one to pets. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and run it. Now, obviously, I have made a ton of mistakes. So, I want you to see what happens when we do this. The nice thing about using a web-based compiler is that it's oftentimes quicker because my internet speed at my house is faster than my computer speed on this machine. So you can see slowly building. And again, you guys can probably tell by looking at it that I did a terrible job making this sound believable. And I have a few things we need to fix before this can legitimately be called a chatbot. But let's run it anyway, because technically it is complete. So let's try it out. What is your name? Edward. Nice to meet you, Edward. What is your age? 12. Nice to meet you, 12. What is your favorite food? Pizza. Nice to meet you, Pizza. What is your pets? Man, this sounds really weird. No one is going to believe this is a human being. But my pets are 2 cats. Nice to meet you. Okay, so that's enough of this, because that is way, way off. So first off, what is your name? Nice to meet you. That's all great. But what is your age is a little bit odd in English. So let's change it up. What would you do instead of what is your age? How else could you ask someone their age? How old are you? How about that? And instead of saying nice to meet you, we need to say something believable that ties in with their age. Like, how about this? Cool. I am that age too. Okay. What is your favorite food? Hey, that kind of works. We can leave that. But we need to change the name here to favorite food. But remember, when we typed in favorite food, we put an underscore. It's not a space there. So, favorite food. And then what would you say? Let's say they said pizza. You might say, gross. I cannot stand favorite food. Okay? And instead of what is your pets, this one's a little tricky. So we asked them, we want to ask them about their pets. And so far, we've asked them questions first. What if we offer up some questions? So instead we say, I have 2 cats. How about you? And then they're going to say something about their pets. Now, just to be, we're just going to ignore it. Whatever they say, really, actually, to sound believable, we don't need to use what they said. So I'm going to say something like, awesome. Anyway, I have got to go. Talk to you later. All right. I only have a couple red lines, so let's see what we made. Red line, I said pets here. Why is that not okay? Well, because I named mine pets 2. So I can either make this pets 2 so it matches, or I could change this to pets, but they have to match. Okay? Alright, let's see how this sounds. Let's see if it sounds a little bit more like we're having a conversation. And again, slowly building. So the goal for this project is not that you necessarily write exactly what I say. You need to really make this one your own. This is a chance to be creative. I'm going to go with Frank for my name. Nice to meet you, Frank. How old are you? 32. Cool. I'm 32 too. Ooh, you're going to notice that I have a space problem there. What's your favorite food? What do you want to say? Burger. Gross. I cannot stand burgers. Okay. So again, I have a space problem there. I have 2 cats. How about you? No pets. Awesome. Anyway, I've got to go. Talk to you later. All right, that sounded relatively believable. We need to do a couple spacing issues. I cannot stand blank. And then also we had one there, right? There's 2 after it. Okay, now making those changes are going to definitely go a long way in it looking better typed. It's going to sound okay. There's still some words of caution. We want to be. This is a very open-ended question, so we got sly with it. We actually didn't even say anything in response. Okay, so we actually threw away this variable and didn't use it. So maybe you can find out a more creative way to use their pets. Ask a better question to get a better answer.